States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Mr. President.
Mayor Reeves? Here. Mr. Bolton?
Here.
Ms. Hall?
Here.
Mr. Stewart?
Here.
Ms. Buckus?
Here.
Ms. Gross?
Here.
Mr. Stigna? Here. President Reeves?
Here. No public comment?
No.
Need approval of the 2020 final budget. Just sitting in front of us, were there any questions? Joe, were there any changes?
No, just, I think the 5% went in for Majeski and Golden.
Okay.
We approve that, so everybody gets the 10% on the top. So there's no change, so it's a $2 million increase.
2 mil increase? Okay.
Sewer stays the same, 345, and still no trash.
Joe, am I reading the budget correctly that there's $58,850 for EMTs for the year?
Yeah, that's budget, it's like half a year, yeah, that's correct.
And what does that work out hourly wise for the number of hours that we could supply EMTs?
Bear with me 1 second.
How come the one time you were so against the EMTs and now you're all for them?
Okay,
Because he's gotta have somebody on his side.
Question, won't need an answer to that.
yeah, what I budget for EMTs is, there's 6 EMTs, budgeted at $15.09 an hour, and it's 15 hours per week for each of the 6. And that includes the chief. One of the 6 is the chief on the fire. So 6, that's how I'm getting ballpark and those figures. So what you see in the line item is, it's like 73,000, because there's a line item for the chief and there's a line item for the other EMTs. So the total is actually 73,985, those two numbers.
That's the fire marshal.
That's fire marshal,
That's not the chief.
Okay, chief, fire marshal, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, the chief is Andrew Walsh, the fire marshal is Robert Glean, correct?
Right.
Yeah, that's how their budget is. So I got the chief, the fire marshal at 15, and then I got 5 EMTs, including the chief, at 11,770. 11,000. That comes to your total, 73,985. And that's, like I said, it's 15 hours per week for every week of the year.
So it's 15 hours a week.
15 hours a week for those 6 individuals.
Do we have a schedule up for the EMTs for January?
I don't do the schedule, so I don't know. I don't do the schedule.
Who does the schedule? Andy Walsh?
Yeah.
Is he aware that he's only got 15 hours a week?
But they knew it was cut back.
That's
I
all
don't
they're
know.
doing right now, that's all they're doing.
Okay.
Any other questions for Joe?
And I put the non-uniforms at 3% like you asked.
Joe, how are we on the audit for 2018?
He's working on it.
It's not done yet.
Yeah, he's working on it now, and he's gonna get on 19.
It's been away for 2 weeks.
No, I thought I saw him here the other day.
There's John.
That was
John
the
was-
son.
John was-
No, the
yeah,
son was.
Sean.
John was away?
Someone was, yeah.
They said he was away, he didn't believe he'd come back.
The family went to Florida.
Did the family went to Florida? Okay.
Joe, the sewer charge, the 345,
Right.
what's that based on?
I back into that bill. What I do is I back in what the cost of Delcor is gonna charge us. We've been asking at 8% more this year than last year. That's based on what John Pileggi told me. And I do an estimate, and it's always a low estimate because we never have enough money because we have to do our own capital work and our own repair and maintenance work. So I put that in there, then I back into it with the fee depending on how many users there are. And as you can see, There's no leftover money. I only had this, I think there's, $26,000, and not 26,000, I guess. $21,000 for any kind of, and $25,000 for maintenance. You got about $40,000 for maintenance and repairs and any kind of capital reserve if you want to fix anything. We have very little money left over.
Well, what's that work out to be per 1,000 gallons?
That, I don't know, you have to do a whole study for that. I don't do per gallons, I just do per units. I'm back into that, cause we don't, per 1,000, that's a whole
So
different animal.
would there be a reason why not to just go per?
That's the way, it's most equitable, we talked about this before. It's
Right,
most
best way to
equitable.
go, right?
Absolutely, you'll bring probably more money, and it'll be more equitable for the older people that don't have to use as much water.
Right, and that's where the commercial properties are paying their fair share.
Absolutely, I'll give you a perfect example, they
Now-
did in that, just nothing else, they did in Aston, Cintas was paying, this was years ago, was paying like $300 or $400 a quarter based on everybody else. They went to water usage, they went up 26,000 a quarter,
Well, exactly, because you've got.
and they didn't say a word, cause they didn't get away with it.
Well, yeah, we got the same problem here in Eddystone.
Okay, but that's it, so you get a lot more money coming in than
So,
before.
I guess my question to you is this, is this something that can be changed, even though you got a 345 here in the budget? As
Right.
long as the number comes out, is it something that can be changed during the year?
I don't think you only can reopen the budget midway through.
No, I'm talking about,
Okay,
this is not a tax,
right.
this is a fee.
Right,
So you can only change, you can't change the budget
right.
based on tax, but this is a fee.
That I'm not sure, I don't know, I have to check in there, I'm not
So
sure.
my question is, if we went to a usage, let's say in February,
Right,
what's the, would that, as long as you're still getting the money you need to pay to sewer,
right, which I
obviously,
would.
then does that make a difference on your budget?
It would make a huge difference, cause I know you bring in a lot more, you bring in a ton more, I'm sure of that.
But I mean, first year, the idea is to try to,
It's
you're
gonna
gonna have
take a
to,
while to get everybody involved and.
right, you're gonna have to annocate the system, because you're gonna have to adjust it.
Right, no, you're right, but I mean, it's, another town that did that, switched over, it took about 6 months to do the whole switching over, it was pretty involved, because you had to make sure you had everybody on the rolls, and make sure, you had to get water bills and all that to get.
Well, the county's the one who, they'll get the water bills and actually bill.
You can request them though,
No, we do, we already get them.
okay, you got them?
We get a hard copy of it. What I'm saying is that goes right out to the county,
Yeah, they'll put it on the bill.
and you tell them you wanna do it by usage, and you give them the usage number,
Right, no.
and then they'll automatically put it on the tax bill.
Correct.
And you can do it where you have empty properties, for instance, maybe you do a minimum of $150 per property, and then if you go over that, as a minimum, so if you got the ones that are unoccupied,
Right.
they gotta pay at least something, because that goes towards
Yeah,
capital
you should put a
improvements.
flat fee for, no water.
Right,
usage,
flat fee and then
Yeah.
a usage fee
Sure,
that
yeah.
goes over that flat fee.
Yeah, I just don't have the answer for you whether you can, cause the tax bills normally go out 2/1, so you'd have to you'd have to not put this on the tax bill and do something that's billed separately. I don't know how you would do that, that's any question, I'm not sure of. If you changed it, if you went 345, the tax bill's gonna get out 2/1.
So in other words, when does it have to go to the county?
Well, we normally, we like to get the bills out 2/1,
So in other words, this information that we're sending out,
in the next week or so, we'll send it to the county, they'll prepare all the tax bills, and Dan will get them, I don't know if they put them in envelopes or Dan or not, they'll get them out by 2/1, February 1st. That's when we normally send them out by, and the discount period is the end of March. If you wanna
Okay.
send them out later, you're not having money coming in, but you can maybe adjust your thing, but I don't know if you can, once the budget's passed, if you can change the fee, I'm not aware of that, I've never done it before.
it's
You
not,
might have to do it next.
well, the budget's not, this is not part of your budget is based on taxes, not based on,
No, it's
on
fee
fees.
separate, yeah, fee separate, it's separate.
Yeah, so this is not a tax,
No,
so
it's a
basically
fee.
you're not changing anything in the budget by changing this.
No, correct, we don't
fee.
take anything in general for it, nothing.
Yeah, but the sewer funds,
Sewer fund has nothing to do with taxes, so it's not, it's a fee.
It's a good question, I just don't know the answer to it. It's something I'd wanna call the state or something, I'm not totally sure, I've never done that before, have you ever been a budget sewer? Josh?
I'm not.
I haven't.
And we set the fee at the resolution
Right,
in the beginning of the year, correct?
Right, yeah. That I don't know, I'm not sure, cause you'll pass an ordinance tonight for the tax levy, but you're not changing this fee to sewer or trash, there's no fee. But I don't know how.
But you're not changing it either if you're going to usage, are you changing the fee?
Well, then you might not change the fee, but some people might be paying more than 345, some people might be paying less.
Well, that's gonna definitely happen.
Yeah, but I don't know, it's a process, I don't know how fast you get those numbers, and make them legit, I mean, if you can do it in 2 weeks, as you're saying, you can do it, that'd be amazing.
Well, you base it on the fact that everybody's based on 65,000 gallons of water per usage per year, correct?
Well, there's an average, you gotta get the average of that.
That's what somebody came in and said the average was,
Okay, well,
65,000
Then
gallons.
you can calculate.
And I can
that.
tell you it's not 65,000
You said
gallons.
it was lower, no.
It's a lot lower than that.
But you
Because the
can
65,000 gallons, what they did was, they took every household,
Yeah, there's some people. that
which
do
included,
100,000.
that were duplexes and triplexes. So you made a duplex 65,000 gallon as an average, but then charged them as if they were using 130,000 gallons, because you did it by unit instead of by household. So that's where it got all screwed up, and then that's how the commercial properties are paying now, based on 65,000 gallons, when it should be probably closer to like 45,000 gallons.
Yeah, but I don't expect your question, I don't know what you can do with it now. The sewer thing.
Would it benefit us to form a sewer authority?
I don't know enough about that either, cause I know that some of the I don't know any, you can form an authority, but there's a process with that too. You have redevelopment authorities, all kinds of different authorities you can form, but that's a process. You're not gonna do that in a week, you're gonna be advertising all kinds of stuff. You can do a sewer authority, I think, take it over, then just like we have in Aston, there was a sewer authority, we appoint the members down, the commissioners appoint the members, and they run it, they do all the billing and everything. That's a process.
But Eddystone has
What was the
done that though?
Who did this? What
East
municipality?
Lansdale.
Where?
East Lansdale,
Lansdowne.
yeah, before I was there.
We own the sewers, right?
Yeah, we own the sewers.
Well, Eddystone is a sewer
It's called
authority.
Aston Sewer.
Well,
They changed
the only
it.
problem is you ain't got nobody running the sewer authority for Eddystone. Nobody's making sure that everything's being done correctly. Everything else has been looked at since 1990.
You would stand where you're going around doing all that.
That's what I'm saying, and nothing's been looked at since 1990. That was the last time the ordinance was updated
You're
for
talking
our
about
sewer.
Aston now.
And we're not even following.
And the
Our
ordinance
budget's
is
not
old.
even following
Yeah,
the
the
ordinance.
ordinance is
The
old.
ordinance goes back to the nineties unless there was a new one, the ordinance with regard to the sewer. And right now, the council's the sewer authority from what I can tell from the ordinance. I mean, the council runs the sewer. There's a committee, right?
No core committee.
But, in the same token, it's not council's responsibility to make sure that you're collecting the right amount of money, or that everybody's paying the right amount of money, or anything else. That's not council's job. It's not the borough manager's job. Sure as ain't the tax collector's job, because he's a tax collector, this is a fee. So you don't have, if you look at the ordinance, it says a sewer authority chairman.
Mm-hmm.
There's no chairman of the sewer authority. We don't have a sewer authority chairman.
If you get one. Why would you come up-
So that's the problem we're running into, is this has just been going on every year, and as your sewer bill goes up, as far as when Delcora says, oh, we're gonna add 8%, then all of a sudden council goes, oh, well, let's vote, and we'll go, instead of paying $3.45, next year we'll pay $3.60. And,
Well, unless you
but
change
nobody
the-
asked why.
When you change the
Other
billing
than
process,
the sewer bill.
yeah, it goes up because you guys cover your own repair, maintenance, and all your capital work.
But
Whereas if Delcora handled it, they wouldn't be doing all that work.
Well, Delcora right now, Joe,
And
you know what Delcora charges?
The taxpayers.
Delcora charges $5.50 per 1,000 gallons, okay? Right now, the average, if I took some of the people that are sitting here, that are on council, and if I looked at their water bill, what they are paying is over $9 per 1,000 gallons. In other words, they're paying more than what Delcora charges. And even if you brought Delcora in and said, hey, come in and do all the sewer lines, okay? Whatever they had to do, they'd float a bond. You'd have to pay back that bond.
Yeah, it'd be separate.
Even at $100 a year to pay back that bond, which is a lot of money, because I think they did market sold for like $50 or
Yeah, they did.
$75. So you said $100, right? One of these council members that are sitting on here, even with the $100 plus the $5.50, would not be paying $3.45 a year.
No,
Can you imagine
the 45, if you take the 5.5, if you're saying that they charge $5.50, that's $248 ballpark. That's just for the processing. So you'd be under 345 depending on what you wanted to budget for the maintenance. And the
You said
repair.
$245 for what?
If you said it's 45,000 gallons is the
Yeah.
average, divided by 1,000 is 45. Then I take the 45 times the 5.5. Then you said Delcora is $5.50 per 1,000 gallons. So that's $247.50. That's just for the processing. So then you got to calculate a figure in there for the maintenance, the capital work, any other kind of stuff, emergency repairs, that kind of stuff. And then that's where you get the 345.
That's what Delcora is charging their customers. That's not what Delcora charges us. Delcora charges us $2.32 per 1,000 gallons to process. That's what Delcora charges us.
It went up 8%, so it's higher than now.
And at $2.32 per 1,000 gallons, obviously, they're also charging us for the infiltration, but we don't even know what infiltration is because,
A meter, they're checking the meter.
well, right, we have a meter in the borough. You can look at it when it's a nice day out today, when we had no rain, and you can look at it a day when it's pouring down rain, and you'll see what the difference is, and you can get the calculation of percentage. That tells you what your infiltration is. But nobody on council's gonna do it, and I just was told this is the authority. So,
I think we need to come up with an authority that can monitor that.
I don't know enough about it, so.
Yeah, I don't know.
it needs to be fixed. It's really, really bad.
The 345, I mean, and I can like what said, we'd be getting more if it was at 5.
If I enlightened, let's put it this way, if you look at what the numbers are, and I just took a small sample, I got it right here in my hand, just a small sample. Most people are overpaying for silver. Most people in Eddystone.
345 at 4.
Most people are paying.
I'd like to see those numbers.
Not a problem. I'd be more than happy to show it to you. Because remember, we based it on 65,000 gallons,
We're
right?
paying, we felt that, I'm
That
just basing
question of
on,
Mr. Wilson, he'd really be
I'm basing on what Delcora charge is gonna be over $100,000 a quarter they're gonna charge us now. So it'll be $400,000, I think I budgeted for something. So that's
Right,
what,
but you're not-
but that's what they're charging us for pricing, so I wanna see how they calculated the 400,000, the 8% increase. I'm just doing what I have in my hands, I back into that. So if they're charging us.
You just took 8% times what they're paying us right
That's what they
now.
told me, they told me they're
Well,
gonna
that's-
increase it 8% this year, it's gonna go up way more when I would think in 10 years from now, but the point is, that how they come up with that, they're not using $2.40 because it'll be much lower than 90,000 a quarter.
No. We're paying $2.32 per 1,000 gallons of processing.
Well, then I gotta see their bill, because it's not, I don't get.
You paid it. You should have seen
No,
it.
no, it doesn't
I
show
signed
you-
it.
Doesn't show you what you're paying on the bill.
Well, it does. It shows exactly $2.32 per 1,000
The
gallons.
Delcora bill, you talking about the same bill I'm talking about?
Yeah, the Delcora bill. Well, we
Yeah,
pay
I'll pull-
quarterly.
I'll pull
We
it,
pay
I'll
it
pull it.
quarterly.
I'll pull it.
We pay it quarterly.
But I'm backing into that, but my point is, how do you, if you back into the, if it's 247 like you're saying, but it's
I'm
still
not saying that's what we charge. I'm
No,
not saying
I know that, but I'm saying, I'm trying to get you my percentage of budget, until you go to water usage, I have to back into that number. And that's why, I back into that number, then I gotta put a percentage in there for repairs, maintenance, and which is very little, cause what we're paying in processing is pretty high. So the point is, I have to get a number to equal, to pay those bills, that's
You're
how I come
paying-
up to
you're-
345.
That's what I'm trying to tell you, Joe. You're paying high in processing because there's certain
Yeah, the I&I.
properties that aren't paying at all.
Well, that's a collection issue more than anything then. We gotta-
Once again,
Right.
Whose job is that? Is that Borough Council's job? 'Cause
We
they're
go
the
after
authority.
delinquents, we file liens.
No, but if you don't know the property is delinquent, because then whose
Yeah,
job
you
is
go
that?
out, Yeah.
Once again, there's no sewer
Like
authority.
here's an example. Property down on Seville Avenue is a vacant lot, correct?
Correct.
They should
According to
pay-
Delaware County.
They pay $100, they should pay $100 if they don't have any water use.
No, it's not a vacant lot, it's a two-story apartment,
It's
two-story
listed-
office
it's listed
building.
It's listed as a vacant property?
This is a vacant
It's
property.
listed as a vacant
Sorry,
property.
tell me this, I didn't know
Is that Benny Vino property?
Yeah. the one across
this.
the
He's paying
street.
taxes? 'Cause if he's
If
paying
He
you
pays
taxes.
taxes on a empty property.
The building.
When
You want me to
did we
get
find
into
this
it?
out? When did we find this out?
All you can do is look up on the county records, I did.
No, I know, that's all you could've told us, we could've,
I've been saying it for a year.
No, nobody said anything to Joe.
Well, I told the school board.
It's either
Yeah, he
delinquent.
did tell the school
I
board.
told the school board, because they're the ones that usually goes after everybody for
The,
reassessment.
and the sewer delinquents, if somebody doesn't file a tax, any of the ones we have on the rolls, we lien the properties, so then you say there's 100,000, say there's 100 taxpayers that didn't pay their tax, that means they didn't pay their sewer either. The taxes go to the county, they collect them, we go after the sewer, delinquent sewer, file liens, Sandy files liens and stuff, when we collect it, as, properties move everything. So, the ones that we have on record, that are delinquent, that don't pay on time, Sandy files liens and we collect them, maybe not right away, when the property processes. The ones we don't know, like he's saying, they're not on.
Yeah, you have no
And
way.
if you
to
did go,
check
to water-
it
if
on
you did
the-
go to water usage, you do it, that's why it's gonna take a while, because you have to do a complete mapping of.
Exactly, you have to go around and actually physically look at every piece of property, which means
a while.
Borough Council's not gonna do it. And obviously the tax collector is a tax collector, not a fee collector, so he's not gonna do it.
The one time I did work in 8 years ago, they brought in a guy, I don't know the guy's name, he went in and did the whole process for me, it took him about 6 months. And
Yeah,
you have
it's
to
time
pay for it.
consuming.
Was it somebody from Delport?
No, it was somebody with some sewer background, this is before I was even there, but they changed the water usage for next year, but he did the whole process, whoever was with this company. They came in, did the whole process, put people on the rolls, who wasn't there, who was next, and then they just, but it was a process, it wasn't quick. And then the
But
next
what I was
year,
trying,
they enacted
what I was
it.
trying to tell you, Joe, is if you, even something as stupid as $7 per 1,000 gallons,
Right.
okay, would increase the bill of all the commercial properties by astronomically, because they're using 11,000, 20,000 gallons versus somebody that is using
4 or 5 thousand.
34,000 gallons a year. You know what I mean? They're using hundreds and hundreds of
Yeah,
thousands.
some of the companies are probably using way more, just like I told you the Syntex example.
Well, I'll give you a perfect example. I looked at Walmart, for instance, okay, and I'll tell you how bad our ordinance is. This is how bad our ordinance is.
From 1990?
From 1990. If we were following the ordinance, which we're not, but if we were, Walmart's bill last year for sewer should have been $2,500
For the year.
for the year. You know what we charged them?
No.
5,000.
Okay.
You know what they should have been paying? Probably closer to 9.
Okay.
So there's where the problem is, Joe. So if you make up the thousands of dollars on somebody's being undercharged and give it back to the residents where we're being overcharged, then you ask me about that 345 being too high. You still have the same amount of money you're collecting, just that it's redistributed, that
Yeah, it's
the
more
taxpayer
equitable.
and residents
Right,
aren't paying for the
more
commercial
equitable.
properties.
Not arguing, it's a more equitable way of doing it, yeah. I'll see if the goes down, some go up, but it's more equitable, I agree with you, I agree with you last time you brought it up. So I don't know what you, I don't know what you can do with it.
And to put an end to this, I wanna make a motion to establish a sewer authority chaired by Bill Bolton.
There you go. Would you like to do that? Since she's sitting right
Look, I know how much
Open your
time and
mouth.
effort you put into this.
Am I getting a stipend for this?
Yes, you will.
$4.10 a day.
Let me tell you.
I got so much knowledge of this, you might
You know,
do it.
We'll give you 100 gallons of water a month.
As
Get
Mandy
free water,
said-
do I get free sewer for the year?
What's that?
Second,
Second, so
I think if you, since you know so much, this would be good.
Him and Dan have been working on it for a long
And-
time.
You know, for years I fought against it, but I don't now, because he showed me what I didn't know. And I mean, this town was gonna go that way, but they changed, but now that's the right way to go.
Yeah.
Because we use no water hardly at all.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor.
Can I interrupt just for a minute, because we were discussing here the authority, I don't know if there's a special way to do that, or if it has to be advertised.
Sure, you have to be
So,
advertised.
yeah, so I think you need to like do this more in theory as opposed to saying this is what we're gonna do, because then I'm gonna have to look into how do we establish an authority. You know, I don't think we've ever done that yet.
Okay, so then we need to make a motion to have Sandy research how to establish a sewer authority.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
Motion, I'd say reach out.
We never done, never did it.
Well, who has already done it, you said?
Nobody that I'm aware of. No, they didn't go to a sewer authority, they just changed their billing usage, they brought in a private company. CPA, changed all the.
Evan, who has a sewer authority around
I
here?
don't know anybody has a sewer authority.
Just put in there when it's.
Aston does.
Yeah, but that's separate from the township, we just appoint the members, that was set up.
A lot of them are separate.
Are they?
Yes.
There's no members.
Separate
No
entities.
council members.
No, council, we appoint, the way Aston Sewer Authority, when I was commissioner there, the Sewer Authority's a separate entity, they do their own thing. We don't fund it, we do nothing, all we do is appoint members from our ward, each of our ward, a member to sit on the board, and they do it's a whole separate set of books,
Separate
they do their own
entity.
billing, there's nothing to do with the township. The board does.
You're paying, so you have a separate sewer authority.
Exactly.
What towns own their own sewer lines?
Ridley Township, and they have their own sewer authority.
There you go. Then you should go contact Ridley. I don't know.
Yeah.
And see, where we got into trouble, Evan, is there was an issue about sewer line, and there's no logs on it. Only since we got in.
No,
we
until we started working on the stuff
Right,
and got precision
USA,
in there, and
we're all in ports now.
you and
we
Bill.
know what's going on in the town,
Yep.
because we're involved in a lawsuit over one.
I'm sorry, I interrupted your.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
That's all right.
Alright, so you made a motion to
Let Sandy go out
have
and
Sandy research.
research. And then whenever the research is done, I still want Mr. Bill Bolton to chair.
Since you know so much already about it.
It could save me money,
So you made a motion, and I second that? Yeah,
Second.
He seems like he, already knows what's going on. Okay, so there's a motion made, seconded to have Sandy check it to us, establishing a sewer authority. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
I'd like to make a comment. One of the
Right.
things that some of these sewer authorities are doing, and obviously you'll talk to Delcor about this, I have some of the certifications involved, but infiltration is a huge problem in every town, especially old towns like this. So you have, you know, as a job in code enforcement, one of the things we do is make sure, you know, sump pumps are not being tied into sanitary sewers, condensate drains from air conditioners and high efficiency furnaces, and downspouts tied into sanitary sewers. There's so much. It's called I&I, inflow and infiltration, and Charles Catania has a big play in that, and he wrote the whole thing for Delcor and worked along them, and there's major. So a lot of towns are going forward. Nether Providence is a big one where you have to camera the sewer lines and do different tests by licensed contractors to make sure that before a house is sold, because that's really the only time you can really enforce the ordinance, to make sure that, you know, Mary Smith's gutters or downspouts are not tied in the sewer. Because I mean, I don't have an average, but I know in a small borough like this, it would be night and day on how much infiltration. And that's also, infiltration is considered water that's sneaking into the sewer systems, like old mains and things. Inflow is obvious things like sump pumps and things like that. So we try to do the best we can from a code enforcement standpoint to do that stuff, but if you have a sewer authority or somebody like that, then you can start getting into other ordinances that can help the borough save money.
The average infiltration for Delcor is 12%.
What are they basing that off of?
Metering. They take their metering when you go when it's
Are they
nice
saying
sunny out.
overall
it's not
12, like you just said, like taking it down?
Right, you're taking meter readings from what your inflow is coming in on a sunny day versus a rainy day. It's 12% is what their total is 12%. Our borough, I guarantee you, is more like 200%. but
For sure.
it may come down once you start adding in the companies that are not paying, or people that are not paying their sewer bill. That infiltration number may come down also, because that's also automatically considered infiltration, even though it's actually somebody using water. You don't know that, but we got to start somewhere, and the way to start is go to that meter and start keeping track of the meter on rainy days, sunny days, making sure that, you know, to see what those numbers are, and you'll start to see a trend. It's just like people's bills. I look through the thing. Is some people's bills going to go up? Yeah, they will. But there's a reason why they go up. If you look at, I looked through, like I said, I took a lot of samples. I looked at probably at least 400 homes in Eddystone. Some people's water bills might have been higher than what you would call as the average. And you look at it and you go, why was it? Well, all of a sudden you look and you see they're using 500 gallons or 400 gallons of water, 300 gallons of water per month. And all of a sudden, they're using 1,000 gallons of water per month for like 2 months. There's probably a running toilet. Somebody left something on. You can actually look at the bill and say, this quarter was like 4 times higher, and it was in November, so they weren't filling a pool. So, you know, you can't use that as an excuse. And it's easy to figure out where you're spending your water.
Yeah.
So if you have a high water bill, you're going to have a high sewer bill. If you have a low water bill, you're going to have a low sewer bill. Plain and simple.
Output.
Well, rental properties, for example, and you know, this is
Perfect example.
rental properties there, and this is not to throw anybody under the bus, but sometimes people that live in a rental property, they don't care if the toilet's running because they're not paying for the water bill. So then his sewer bill, it's based off the water usage, and boom, there you go. I mean, how many rental properties you have
I've seen
here?
it happen on mine. My water bill for my duplex runs usually about $55 a month, which is about the same as what a household is of a lot of people. But at $55 a month, all of a sudden, if it goes to $85, I know there's a toilet running. Even though the tenants didn't call me, now I'm going in and I'm searching for which toilet's running. And why didn't you tell me? Because I know that my water bill's going up higher.
Yep.
So you got to have a little personal responsibility too.
You'll check into that, right, Sandy?
Yes, I'm just looking at the borough code right now, there's some stuff in here about it.
Okay, any other questions for Joe regarding the budget? No? Beth?
No, good.
So, Joe, we increased the budget 2 mils, you said?
Yes,
And what did you say that equates to with $100,000 property?
$100,000, you divide that, what you do is you divide that by 1,000, so it'd be
$200.
$200.
Okay,
For
so if the
100,000.
property valued is $100,000, then it's a $200 increase.
The average property value in
If-
Eddystone is
if you're-
50,000.
Yeah, that's
Right,
what I
so
based it
if
on.
your property value is 50,000, it'd be a $100
Yeah,
increase. Right. I just wanna clear that up for the residents that are watching so that everyone knows what's
Yeah,
being
and I said that
discussed.
last meeting, so.
I understand, but there may be somebody watching tonight that didn't watch last
Sure.
week, I just wanna make sure it's clear for everybody.
I understand.
I got a couple questions too, Joe. So we added 2 mil, which actually adds about $330-some thousand to the budget for a year, correct?
Correct, 160, the net mill's 168,
So,
168.5.
so $336,000. So where did the 336,000, because when we first, before we raised it, we were behind about, would you tell me, 130,000?
Yeah, we're more than that, a little more than that. We're about $1.5 million. So we got an extra, you have an extra $500,000 here, then I bumped up the police pension. I plugged the additional police pension in, and I also am concerned about the estimate that we got from the actuary, who did the cost study. That's gonna skyrocket, so you put a little in at a time, that's the next 3, 4, 5 years, the pension's gonna blow up because of the increase in the wages as well as dropping to 50 years.
You're talking about 5 years, right?
Yeah, well, they're getting 10% this year, and then they're getting 5, plus it's a 30% over 5 years, and they're all gonna be over 6 figures. So that plays into the pension calculation as well as now that their valuation.
Wait a minute, they all can't be over
They're
6
not all
figures in
over
5
6
years.
figures then.
25%, most of the guys making only $80,000, they're gonna be over.
Their base pay is 75.
The base pay, they get longevity part of it, holidays, that's all calculated in there. Trust me, I got the salaries right here, I won't say names, but I'll tell you their gross salary. Yeah, I mean, the gross salary for your full timers is a high of 99 for at the end of this year and a low of 80. Cause the base salary is just the base, then you gotta calculate any, like lieutenant, sergeant, you get rolls for that. You also pay for the longevity, you also pay for their holidays, and then overtime gets worked into that, all that's calculated in there. So it's not just the base salary, and then 25% on 7,500 is gonna be $100,000, they're all gonna be over 6 figures. Which isn't out of line. So
Right.
5 years ago, most of your cops in this area are gonna be at $100,000.
Yeah,
That's
right,
not what they're
exactly,
paid.
exactly.
They're really shot
We're
in there.
bringing
Well,
them
first
up
of all,
to
if there
where
are
they
80,
should be.
if you got police officers in other areas next to us, they're getting 82,
Oh,
83,000.
I'm just telling you where it's coming from, I'm not
Okay.
arguing the
So
Pennsylvania.
everybody's in the same boat as we are.
But you gotta pay for this stuff. That's what I'm
Right,
saying.
right.
Everybody's in the same boat we're in.
Yeah, your salaries are running along with everybody else.
Okay.
But the point is, you're doing it all in one shot. But the biggest thing you guys did, which other towns aren't doing, you lowered the age back to 50. People stay to 55. That's a big hit. That's a
Well, we
bigger
did
hit than the
that,
salary.
you know the reasoning for doing that, right?
No, I don't know that.
You wanna,
Well, one, because after 50 years old, an officer has more of an opportunity of getting hurt than they do below 50 years old. And look at our pension right now is being hit with the people that are on
Yeah,
disability.
but we haven't had anybody else since I've been here, but yeah.
It's
that's-
cheaper to have somebody go out as a retiree, like the mayor did, than it is to go out as a
Workman's comp.
workman's
Am I getting a raise this year?
That's a total raise, you know that. Yeah, I don't know that, that's the actuary's gotta calculate it, but that, all I
see,
know
when
is
they
that
go out, when you go out on
Some
regular
people think
retirement,
it does
you
get
go
raised.
out,
it doesn't hurt the pension though. You
Don't
don't
hurt
right,
the
have full
it's,
disability.
you go
that's
out
the
at
problem.
50%, you
Yeah.
get 50%, correct?
What?
When you go out on regular retirement, it's
50%.
50%.
Yeah, you get full 100% when you got full-time disability. I
Right,
understand
which-
that.
We have 5
Disability
people,
70%.
70% I think.
5 people out of 7 that are retired, that are getting
Yeah.
70% tax-free.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying, if they.
That all
if
retired,
10
that all,
years from
that
now,
all
if-
got hurt before they
I know,
were
if it's just,
55.
but I mean, the actual. I'm
And
just
we're
saying
over
the actual
50
stuff.
probably.
Going
Yeah.
over 50 is
Yeah,
a
they
big
were.
hit on the budget.
They're all over 50 when they got hurt.
Right.
No, I understand that, and it happens everywhere, these guys, it's a tough job, I'm not saying, I'm just telling you why the cost is going up, it's because you're going to 50.
Right.
And, you know, and then once the cost study's done, we'll get you a copy of the cost study. And you'll
Joe,
see
the cost
right-
study's not complete as of
It
yet.
is complete, I believe, he said it is complete, and if you wanna get him here to explain it, he explains better than I would. It's Jim Kennedy, he's your actuary, he has it done though, when you guys had some motion, we called him.
Right.
And the company that did it has it completed, we just haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
So, but that'll show you where the fluctuations are and everything.
But that is bringing our officers up to,
The wages, yeah, but I'm just telling you, you just gotta pay for it, you can give the officers 30% a year, but you gotta pay for it.
and I believe, does anybody have, do you have that paperwork that Joe gave us last time?
No, I
Last
haven't
week?
done with my red stuff.
You have your- Of the averages? Do we have on there how many departments are already?
Oh, you're talking about the ones that are higher than us?
Everybody's hired.
Everybody's hired, we're the fourth from the bottom in all 49. If you look at the 49 municipalities in Delaware County, we're fourth from the bottom. Everybody else, so that's 45 of them are hired.
Some were 96 to start, 98.
45 municipalities are higher than ours. That's what it comes out to. 45 municipalities are higher than ours.
Okay. That's what I thought.
So in other words, if you give them 3% this year, and you get, and the company, the municipality that's making 83,000 gives them 3%, guess what?
We're still in
The
the same
gap
spot.
continues to grow more because 3% of 83,000 is larger than 3% of 75,000. So what happens is that margin even widens, and we become further down the list. That's how we got down the list in the first place, down to probably.
So in the end of
We
5
were
years,
never at
we
the
should
top
be
of
up.
the list, we were always the bottom of the list.
Well, now you're really at the bottom of the list. So now we're gonna get in the middle.
Okay. Any other questions?
No,
Andy?
Questions about the budget? No.
I'd like to have a motion to approve the budget, 2020 final budget.
Approve the budget.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, to approve the 2020 final budget. All in favor?
Aye.
I will be a no.
aye.
Roll call vote please, Mr. Pacino.
Mr. Bolton?
You say me?
Mr. Bolton?
Mr. Bolton?
I'm a yes.
Ms. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Stewart?
I'm a no.
Ms. Buckus?
Yeah.
Ms. Gross?
Yeah.
Mr. Signa?
Yes.
President Reese?
Yes. And just for the record, I can vote on that, because of the police. It does not affect me, it does not affect Alan. Any of the police contract stuff has no effect on Alan or myself, so that part of the budget does not affect me anyway.
The police contact? No, I
Yep.
agree with you, that doesn't affect this guy.
Well, there was some question about how I could vote on a police contract, if I should abstain from it. Yes. So I would just like to clear that. Need approval to fix the tax levy, for the tax levy ordinance to 11.15 mils, which is a 2 mil increase. This also includes a 0% trash fee, and the sewer fee will remain at $3.45.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2020 tax levy ordinance of 11.15 mils.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the tax levy ordinance to increase the millage to 11.15, which is 2 mils. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. I need a motion to approve the 2020 tax anticipation note resolution.
Make a motion to approve the 2020 tax anticipation resolution, sorry.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the 2020 tax anticipation note. All in favor? Any opposed? Ayes have it.
resolution, is anybody not aware of what this is about with regard to the, I mean, I don't wanna bore you with
This,
all
yeah,
sorts
this is in reference to, they don't, a lot of people, I don't think,
of-
a couple
people
don't,
know, okay.
a couple people don't.
So, after the police contract was approved at the meeting, I heard from, the chief with regard to the fact that, there's a provision in there giving them the 5% boost if they are certified, and it's national certified. And what I heard from the chief is there are 2 people, I think he's one, that were certified prior to either that national was required or even existed. So obviously you want them in parity with all the other police officers, so this resolution, I think, takes care of that.
Right.
It's gonna be, Chief Officer Golden. I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution regarding the police contract. Also, the 5% for Mike Coleman and Chief Majestic be given to
As per, right, as per the resolution.
resolution.
Second. Motion made, seconded, all in favor?
I'll be a no.
Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bolton?
Aye.
Ms. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Stewart?
No.
Mrs. Buckus?
Aye.
Ms. Gross?
Aye.
Mr. Signa? Mr. Signa, I'm
Yes.
sorry. Mayor, President Reed?
Yes. Okay, roundtable discussion. Start with you, Mr. Stewart.
I have nothing.
Mr. Bolton?
Aye.
And my
Ms.
turn?
Hall?
You didn't say my name? I was waiting. I have an email I received, we all received actually, that I'd like to share. This is an email that was sent to you, Mr. Stewart, saying that you were being notified property at 907 Civil Ave and the Third Quarter Property Holdings LLC, Third Q purchase, does not have a CO, and it has been revoked. You have yet to hand in the paperwork that is required, that you falsely stated that all the safety violations were corrected. All the safety violations were supposed to be corrected prior to the sale of the property, which you stated you would take care of them. Upon doing an inspection that was supposed to be performed prior to the sale, they found that none of the violations were corrected in full. However, you did install a few smoke detectors and a carbon monoxide in the second floor apartment. The borough will give you until 12/12/19 to complete all safety violations listed on the borough's inspection report, or we will be forced to take action. There are several serious violations that you completely ignore after several requests to repair. I would appreciate your cooperation in these matters and would like to see the glass on the door replaced to code before someone is seriously injured. 1226 Lawrence Ave, you owned and sold without applying for a CO or the fee required. Also, Third Q is illegally renting the premise without an RROL or tenant notification form and etc. You also stated that the concrete you never replaced was going to be replaced as soon as you purchased 907 Civil Ave. I've worked with you on this property and even dropped a citation after you rented this without a CO. RROL, tenant notification, and etc. This is the second time in about a year that this premise has been in violation. Now we'll move on to 732 Ashland Ave. It's also in violation and has been issued a stop work order due to an illegal contractor doing work with proper insurance, without proper insurance or a permit as required by the borough codes and ordinances. Since there's not a permit holder, I'm issuing this in writing. You are well aware of these violations as well. Ann's Market, not only have you not paid for your license for 2019, you have not resolved numerous health violations from last year, and you have no concern about the welfare of your customers, failing to do the required state-regulated corrections. Someone can be seriously sickened or die from the food-borne illnesses from not date stamping or having a dangerous allergic reaction without labeling the foods. I would really appreciate you taking care of these issues, especially all of the serious violations immediately. I will keep a chain of emails going to council because of the lack of communication from you and failure to respond to emails or texts. Regards, John Lyman. Do you think that you're above the rest of the residents in this borough? Like, why haven't you taken care of any of these?
I've hired a third-party BCO who was also certified in doing any health inspection work, and that third-party BCO has been working directly with our code enforcement officer to resolve the issues.
Have these issues been resolved?
No, he hasn't been working with me. He did contact me a few times, but he put the only thing he really did was put a piece of
The CO that was
plexiglass.
supposed to be required for 2019, which we have 1 day left, right?
He doesn't have a CO for the 907. I don't believe he paid for a health license as it.
If this was
Today.
anybody else, would they be open?
They should be. It should be citations issued,
Yeah.
but
Well, why do we have you, but yet he can do whatever he wants? Everybody thinks it's fine, and I'm tired of it. That glass in that door, whether you put plexiglass on or not, the one above it is still can shatter and cut a kid to pieces. I don't know what it takes to get anything done right. I mean, he sits here on council, he barks, but he don't do nothing.
yeah.
And he doesn't participate, and we hire you within good notions that you do a good job, because we know both of yous. You know, why doesn't he listen?
He doesn't comply.
He
He
puts you in a
doesn't-
bad spot,
Now,
John.
are these people?
What's that?
He puts you in a bad spot.
Yeah.
It's horrible. I
Are
mean,
these-
I have trouble sleeping at night with the glass and other things,
Is
but
these people safe in these places, or we gotta bring in the state? I mean, somebody's gotta come in now. Somebody's got to come in and go.
well, I worked with some of the people in the market and gave them some direction, and they were unaware of some of the issues that had to be done.
I mean, this is terrible, it's horrible.
But as smart as you are, Mr. Stewart, and all the things that you know these things need to be taken care of. You've been made aware of them. So why are they not being done? Why are they not being taken care of? Do you think you're above any resident that lives in this borough?
Again, I've hired a third-party,
And nothing's been done, an
BCO.
entire year.
and that third-party BCO is working
When
directly
did you
with
purchase
our
Ann's
code
Market?
enforcement officer.
When
He
did
is
you
not.
purchase
He
Ann's
hasn't
Market?
been. He's not working.
Just the same
Your third-party BCO is can't even keep up with what he got.
After January?
Excuse me?
Just the same third-party BCO that you promised to hire after January?
Well, I don't understand.
We know your
this.
plan, Bill.
Yeah, we know you're.
I got a phone call today by the contractor that was working on his house, and he said you don't have to worry after the 1st because they're going to terminate us,
Really?
and he won't need insurance or
Oh, that's interesting.
permits after that.
That's very interesting. Very interesting.
But I've been we've
I'm
been
not
trying to
aware of
work.
any phone calls.
We've been trying to work.
Don't lie, Bill. Come on, we've caught you in lies before, don't lie. Just,
You haven't got any
you know.
phone calls?
I said I am not aware of any phone calls.
Well, I got a call today by him, the contractor. But
Is there somebody?
there's no
from the state
communication.
we can
Just
call,
does
John?
he does what he wants? No, well,
Is there somebody we can contact,
No,
Mr.
we-
Rossetti? Is there somebody we can have come in? I mean, we know who this other guy is. What's wrong with John? What did John do that he can't do the job right? This is what I don't understand.
I don't know.
And we're caught in the middle here because he just does whatever he wants and nobody's challenges him. So I'm asking you for help.
It's a code, Mark, it's code inspection.
Well-
What kind of help you looking for? You're gonna call the state, John's gonna get in trouble.
now I'm gonna.
No,
what I have
Hold
to.
on, just say, you just asked for opinion, hold on.
That's all
The
right.
state's gonna come back on you, you're
Yep.
the BCO,
Yeah, and I don't
John,
want
you know
that to
that,
happen.
more than I do.
Yep.
It's your responsibility as the BCO to take care of it.
John, if he's not compliant,
I have to issue citations.
do it, cite him.
So I don't
I've been
everybody
trying to
to
work
his
with
phone.
them.
For how many
His
months?
third-party inspector is not working
I
right
got a
now,
question.
so not communicating.
Why did you hire a third-party BCO?
Because in all honesty, I can't understand the direction that Mr. Lyman's given me.
Oh, my God.
You don't return calls, you don't return emails, you don't return texts.
Because he thinks
You just
he's
do what
above
you
everyone
want.
else.
What does the third-party BCO
He's-
have to do with filling out the rental license
Let's see how.
Rental license has been filled out.
You don't have everything complete, Bill.
for 2019?
You've been.
Yes.
Answer this.
No, it is not.
It's not complete, you just said it.
Somebody saying, one saying it's not one saying it is, so you have paperwork, John? that
Yes,
show
I
it
do.
is?
I have incomplete paperwork.
And-
What is the what is the incomplete
I,
paperwork?
it's your rental license. It's incomplete.
What is incomplete about it?
I don't have it in front of me.
Okay.
Did you have?
You
have
said
the
you were gonna
tenant-
take
did the
care of it
tenant-
immediately, but you
did
have
the
yet to
tenant
get back.
get it notarized?
The tenant has been ill. The tenant has been out of the property
Okay.
for the last 30 to
So in other words, you're saying
90
no, it hasn't
days.
been notified?
But she can smoke.
Well, Bill, I'm just asking you a question. You-
I don't know if she's been up here to have it notarized or not.
Okay, so
It's
I've made the
it's
tenant-
incomplete.
So
I've
she
made
moved
the
in
tenant-
without getting notarized. and
The
you
tenant
moved
has
in-
been there for 15 plus years.
So
She's
why?
not
would-
ill because of the conditions
Yes.
of the apartment, is she?
No, she's ill because she's got
She has
personal
health
medical
issues.
issues.
So we talking about the apartment above Ann's?
Yes.
Okay. What about, so all the other rental, you have all the other ones?
My understanding is yes.
Okay. And
Are they done, Jay?
No, he transferred the property to an LLC and the RRLOL does not transfer from the former owner to the new owner, and neither does the CO. He has to apply for the CO.
so was there a CO when you made
Didn't you go to
settlement? on-
class for BCO? Don't you have your license?
Yes.
Well, you should know these things, Bill.
That's why he's trying to get away with it.
Yeah, you should know these things.
'Cause he
You
does
wanna
know
be the
these
next
things.
BCO?
He puts us in a horrible
Stupid.
position, period.
Sure it does. Yes, ma'am.
So if, John has been to my house, cause there was a couple things that needed to be done, I've been in that property for about 5-6 years, I guess, since the fire. So if I, and my landlord is gonna get in trouble, and I hate calling you out again, but why aren't you doing it with an actual business that we purchase food at? Like, is that what the health issue could be? Is the food at your business? Cause if I get in trouble for my house, and I rented since 19 what? God, the kids were in 2002? Like, come on, you stop it. No, why, I gotta ask, so if I'm gonna get in trouble, why are you not getting in trouble?
Because he's Bill Stewart.
I mean, I know that, but still,
Alright,
why?
so the only thing you can do here is, being you're the BCO, and he's not following the rules, is cite him and then go to court.
It doesn't matter, after the first of the year, he wants to get rid of us
Cite him
anyway,
before the
and
first
bringing
of
his
the
buddy,
year
so.
That statement should have never been
Because
made.
if he thinks he's
No,
right,
not at all.
then.
No, he's
you wouldn't
100%
pay-
wrong.
Pay the
He's-
citation.
You don't cooperate whatsoever.
The third-party BCO that I've heard about, I really would like to hope that that's not
If
gonna
John Lyman had.
Yeah, right, the credibility of that person isn't too
John
great.
Lyman
His
had
credibility's
not
not good at
inspected
all.
the house in
No.
Kevin
Bill
on
thinks so.
11th Street, we'd have had 3 dead kids in that house. If them 2 men did not get in that house, and yet the big mouth comes up here and says, I wanna know why they're bothering me, I says, let them in. I said, let them in. And when he went in, well, you saw what you found, they run a pot light in the shower. Jesus. Right up against the old knob and tube, which would have wiped them out. But he comes back, I'm so sorry I picked on you. I says, you didn't pick on me, we just wanna save you. Bill, he's here to help you, not to hurt you. We've been telling you that since we came on. You can't make the council work unless you gel together. For some reason, it's all busted up. You don't wanna do this, we wanna help you, and you walk by throwing smart remarks and stuff.
What smart remarks did I throw?
Well, you said to me, well, he only has these charges. You think I'm stupid? I might be old, but I'm not dumb. But you know what, Bill? You're planning your strategy, and I hope you didn't do this to hurt these guys. You guys gotta go home and think about it, that he's done it the first year.
He's not worried about
If
hurting us,
they're
he's
done,
thrown us under the bus
a lot of
many a
things will
times.
be done. It's a shame that you did that.
Bill, what's your plan after the first of the year? You're gonna bring in your buddy Tartaglia and get a
No,
kickback
no,
or something?
no. That's the last one I wanna hear.
No, I'm asking you. Because ever since the time that you brought Tartaglia here to show his plan, you know, of all the other boroughs he's been kicked out of and all the lawsuits he's been involved in, you bring him here. When we had a conflict, we asked for your help. We went to you for help as being a council person overseeing code enforcement. So instead of you backing us when we were being legitimate and following the rules, you bring in Tony Tartaglia and try to get everything smoothed over. Now this is the same guy that you're trying to bring in to work with John on that, and he's not doing anything.
He's a friend of Bill's.
reputational risk.
Of course he
Someone
is.
who's always got
Bad
something to
people
say.
travel alike
Yeah.
in packs.
Yep.
So what's your plan, Bill? I'm asking you, man to man. What's your plan after the first year, you and your buddies?
Plan is whatever the pleasure of council is. That's the plan.
Yeah, you've had a plan since before the first election, when you had them running against the ticket. I have pictures of you canoodling with Connors and Orr and all of them. You know you've got a plan. You've had a plan all along. And the sad thing is, I don't know who got played more in 2019.
The residents.
The residents of Eddystone or Baby Shark.
The residents.
Obviously.
Thank you, Maria.
Definitely the residents.
Not a problem. I mean, I'm getting in trouble. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
I don't think it's
I try
fair.
to treat everyone the same.
Yeah.
And,
And
he
two,
thinks
like
he's
we,
above the law.
you know, and I know that like,
It's
we-
trust.
Yeah.
It's trust.
it's, but if we have to do it, and I just do it in a house, I'm not having people come over and just willy-nilly buy food. Like, you can't do that, and then you wanna be represented by the new people or the old people, and you wanna work together, well, you better start, cause I'm gonna be at every meeting, whether it's all you guys or all new guys, because it's ridiculous. If I'm gonna get in trouble, so are you. That's not fair to anybody. There's 1,200 residents, 2,700
I think
residents.
that was the problem.
27
Trying to
years
get rid of
ago.
the old boys school and hold
25?
everybody at the same.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't set an example this way. You can't.
He took an oath
Yeah, right.
and abstained.
So,
He's already
that's
taken
not
an oath
right.
to uphold all the ordinances in the borough too, and he has done.
Under common law.
well,
He has done. So no matter what you say, it's not gonna matter.
I know, and
It
it's
doesn't
sad,
matter.
because I'm gonna get in trouble and I'll get cited, my landlord will
It
get cited,
doesn't.
and that'll be okay, but then it's alright for you to do it, sitting on council, it's not.
The
I don't
word
agree-
righteous,
I don't
the word
agree with
righteous
any
is
of
not
this.
with Mr. Stewart. That is not in his vocabulary, righteous. He has
You
no clue.
can't do
In all
that.
honesty, Marie, you know firsthand how.
I know,
You get
and I'm not
paid by
trying,
this
I'm not
or
gonna bring
more
that
than
up right
anyone
now, cause it's not the subject, but that's not fair to anybody. It's not. And then you're not gonna say anything to defend yourself or to say, oh, Evan, that's not true, that's not happening. Put a smile on your face, at least lie.
That's what he's been doing. I'd rather have the truth.
I know, but that's awful.
It's even
But
worse
it's
when you get
okay
other
for the,
people to
you
believe
know,
that other people are,
Yeah.
are like that.
Alright, Stan, you have anything?
Yeah, that's
No?
good.
Have a happy, healthy new year.
Have a good New Year.
Kelly?
I do. I just wanna thank, Denny's, you guys, Sandy, Lisa, everyone at this table.
We love you.
We do.
Tina, who else, everyone, the recreation board, this is my last meeting. I did learn so much in this time up here, so, and for that, I'm very grateful. And for my new friends that I made, I'm very grateful as well. My hope is that, going forward, that everyone can work together without any kind of agenda or, forget the word I'm trying to think of, without an agenda. And that is what I wish.
Private agenda.
Right. And that's what I wish for this incoming council. That's it.
You did a lot.
You've done
You
an
did
awful
great
lot.
You
job.
guys too, I'm sorry.
You've done an awful
No,
lot.
you did a great job.
Absolutely.
And if I forgot anyone else, please, it's been my pleasure.
And your family.
And the mayor.
And your family.
Yeah.
Your family's done an awful lot too.
Sophia's very happy this is my last meeting, so
MJ too.
she's very happy. But, so, appreciate it. Thank you guys for everything.
Thank you, Kelly.
Now, all I have to say, I wanna wish everybody a happy new year, and I also wanna thank Mr. Bolton, Mandy, and Kelly, for the great job that you've done. Mr. Bolton and Mandy, only for a short time, unfortunately, but between Mr. Bolton and Mr. Sigda, by working on sewers and fixing buildings and whatnot, they have saved the borough $135,000.
Wow.
Wow.
Good job.
Good job.
Couldn't do it without you.
And with
That's
Mandy
what it
coming on
takes.
board, we had more stuff
More
for
rec,
kids
right,
going on,
Mandy,
so
and more, right, you enabled
more
the kids to have
help.
more time at the gym.
Yep.
By doing the open gym. Kelly, I mean,
Friday night
I just
reading.
wish the new council coming in the best of luck with recreation, because I know that you put, not only you, but your whole family,
Their families will be.
your whole family was
Me
involved.
too, my kids were
And
all
you're,
there
yes,
volunteering.
Mandy, I know,
Jay,
but Kelly's had this for 5
No,
years.
no,
that's
no,
why
I
I'm not,
agree,
you know.
I agree, I'm just saying.
But when,
It is.
right, when
You
anybody
can't-
gets
Yep.
involved with recreation, it's the
Your,
whole family
yep, the
that's
whole
involved.
family gets sucked in.
And I wanna,
Sisters, brothers.
I wanna thank all of you, because it was a pleasure, we got a lot done this past year, and the year before, and it was a pleasure, it wouldn't have happened
No, it was nice the way
if
we
we
all worked
weren't working
together.
all together. We worked with code enforcement, we worked with, the Pennies, we all worked
We were
together.
a team.
We were all a team.
then we straightened out the mold issue down.
And you
there.
got-
Laid around for 5 years.
Yep,
And that was only through the help of Mike Pazay and his family that we
Yep.
got through all this. And even with the trash, now I wanna say something before we end this meeting. 13th Street didn't get picked up tonight. They are gonna pick it up first thing in the morning. The guy's headlights went out in his truck, so they had to take it back. Poor Raymond getting a nervous wreck, I said, don't worry about it. But again, without you guys, a lot of this stuff, like this trash being picked up with, Kevin being out and Jeter not knowing, I thought he was coming back, but he didn't. I appreciate everything you guys have done. Your family has been, Lisa, I miss you.
yep,
It's true. All of them wonderful.
everybody's done a great job. Sandy, Joe, Mike, Mark.
And we're not career
Lisa.
politicians.
Right.
And, you know, we get up here and, we
Came
look
to help.
for you guys for advice
We
and,
came to help.
you
Yep.
know.
No, but I can say we all rolled up our sleeves and we
Right.
all worked
Oh, yeah.
together and we
Yes,
all
we
worked
did.
hard this year. We did
Yep.
a lot of hard work.
A lot of stuff got done. We were busy all the time, meetings after meetings after meetings, correct,
Yeah.
Sandy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Constantly
Maybe for the
learning.
rest of the people around us nuts.
And just for the record too, the trash truck, is it true that the trash truck that is being used to pick up our trash, that is B&L, is our old
Old
trash
trash
truck that was
truck.
sold 5 years ago or
Yep.
4
For
years
how much
ago?
money? $7,500?
Something like
Yep.
that, yeah.
Now, for $7,500, we could have kept in that spare trash truck. It was a good decision on somebody's part.
He was sitting in here laughing about it. Yeah, that's good. That's what your old trash truck is. So we'll do that.
That was a good decision on somebody's part.
Yeah.
They're using their trash truck to pick up our trash because Kevin is on vacation. We are
And
using
Jeter
their
is-
driver, it's
And
just
Jeter
their
is on
driver,
medical, so.
and our guys are picking the trash up, so.
And Kevin wanted this Christmas off because, his family, and he's getting older, and he wanted to be with him. And we said, me and Mike sat down and went through everything, and Mike went out of his way, and we got everything set up so there wouldn't be no issues.
Plus, if you have the vacation,
That's
I
why.
don't believe you have to use it, you can only carry
Not
so
only
much
that,
over.
but family comes first.
Right.
That's right, absolutely.
You know.
And we read it out in
Absolutely. We can
council
figure it out.
3
We can
times
figure it out.
about what date's trash was. And it was the 9th, the 16th, the 23rd, and the 30th, and 31st was recycled. I don't know what more else we can do, but we did what we said. There's people still writing on their eye in the trash. Oh, even gonna dump it on your lawn and mine. How about that?
But after January
How about
2nd, we
that?
go back to the regular schedule, correct,
Right.
Steve?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yep.
Actually, you're getting recycling tomorrow and trash pickup on
On
second.
Thursday.
So actually,
Right,
It's already
actually,
back
this
to
week is
normal.
already back to
It's
the
already
regular
back.
schedule.
Yeah, this week's back to normal.
We're just trying to, bring it back.
So it was really only 2 weeks of inconvenience,
A week and a half.
a week and a half.
Actually,
But there was a
recycling's
lot
actually
of
costing us, right, Joe? It costs us to recycle, correct?
$90 a ton.
Yeah,
If you-
right.
If you look on there who's crying, you'll know why. That's the whole thing about here.
Too much whining.
Yeah.
Take some cheese with that one.
But like I said, I wanna thank the Pizzetti
They were
family.
Well,
Awesome.
it is a hard week for trash, cause you tend to have more trash from all the raffle tier and everything
Well,
else.
the bad part is Christmas fell right in the middle of it.
I know, it is hard to
Such
call
like this.
somebody.
Okay. I have a motion for this meeting to be adjourned.
Oh, good, yeah.
Madam President, I'd like to make a
No, I
motion to
can't.
adjourn this meeting.
I'll second it. Motion
Thank
made,
you.
seconded for the meeting to be adjourned.
Amen.
Have a happy new year, everyone.